Did you know that during World War II, the fate of millions hinged on a single, seemingly insignificant decision? Stick around, because you're about to uncover 29 mind-blowing facts about the world's most devastating conflict. Hi everyone, welcome to History and Culture. If you love diving into the fascinating and sometimes shocking details of history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned till the end, because our final fact will leave you absolutely stunned. The first German serviceman killed in the war was killed by the Japanese. This little-known fact highlights the global scale of the conflict even before it was officially recognized as a world war. In 1937, during the Second Sino-Japanese War, German military advisors were present in China, and one of them, Lieutenant Colonel Baron von Falkenhausen, was killed by Japanese forces. Over 100,000 Allied bomber crewmen were killed over Europe. The strategic bombing campaigns were critical to the Allies' efforts to cripple German industry and morale, but they came at a tremendous human cost. These missions were perilous, with high casualty rates due to anti-aircraft fire, enemy fighters, and hazardous flying conditions. More Soviets died in the siege of Leningrad than Americans and British combined in all of World War II. The 872-day siege by German and Finnish forces resulted in the deaths of an estimated 1.5 million people, mostly civilians, due to starvation, disease, and bombardment. This harrowing episode underscores the immense suffering endured by Soviet citizens during the war. Between 1939 and 1945, the Allies dropped 3.4 million tons of bombs, an average of about 27,700 tons of bombs each month. The relentless bombing campaigns aimed to destroy German war infrastructure, but they also caused significant civilian casualties and destruction, raising ethical questions that are still debated today. 80% of Soviet males born in 1923 didn't survive World War II. This staggering statistic reflects the devastating impact of the war on the Soviet Union, which bore the brunt of the Eastern Front's brutal combat. Entire generations were nearly wiped out, leaving a profound demographic and social impact on the country. There were more Russian military deaths, 10.7 million, than American, 292,000, and British, 364,000, military deaths combined. The Eastern Front was the deadliest theater of the war, with the Soviet Union enduring immense losses as they pushed back against the German invasion. This highlights the crucial role of the Soviet Union in achieving Allied victory. In 1941, more than 3 million cars were manufactured in the United States. Only 139 more were made during the entire war. The U.S. auto industry was rapidly converted to war production, making tanks, planes, and other military vehicles instead of consumer cars. This shift was a testament to American industrial capacity and its contribution to the war effort. 4 of every 5 German soldiers killed in the war died on the Eastern Front. The Eastern Front was a meat grinder for the Wehrmacht, with intense battles like Stalingrad and Kursk resulting in massive casualties. This statistic underscores the ferocity of the conflict between Germany and the Soviet Union. The youngest serviceman was Calvin Graham, age 12. Graham lied about his age and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. His real age was not discovered after he was wounded. Despite his youth, Graham served valiantly, earning a Bronze Star and Purple Heart before his true age was discovered. His story is a poignant reminder of the desperation and patriotism that marked the war era. The Japanese used submarines to deliver bombs to the United States. Only one bomb actually exploded. This effort was part of the Japanese Fugo campaign, which aimed to create panic and fires in the American West. While largely ineffective, it demonstrated the global reach of wartime strategies. The first bomb dropped on Berlin by the Allies killed the only elephant in the Berlin Zoo. This tragic and somewhat ironic event occurred in 1940 during the first British bombing raid on Berlin, highlighting the indiscriminate nature of aerial bombardment and its impact on both human and animal life. The most decorated unit in U.S. history is the 442nd Infantry Regiment. The regiment was composed almost entirely of American soldiers of Japanese descent. Despite facing discrimination and internment at home, these soldiers proved their loyalty and bravery on the battlefield, earning numerous medals for their service in Europe. An American serviceman's chance of surviving the war was about 89%. While this statistic might seem high, it still meant that over 400,000 American service members lost their lives. The survival rate varied widely depending on the theater of operations and the type of unit. There were 433 Medals of Honor awarded during World War II. This highest U.S. military decoration was awarded for acts of valor above and beyond the call of duty, often at great personal risk. The stories behind these medals are testaments to the bravery and sacrifice of those who served. The longest battle of World War II was the Battle of the Atlantic, which lasted from 1939 to 1945. This ongoing struggle for control of the Atlantic sea routes was crucial for maintaining supply lines to Britain and the Soviet Union. It involved relentless submarine warfare and convoy battles. The German 88mm gun was the most feared weapon of the war. Originally designed as an anti-aircraft weapon, the 88mm gun proved devastatingly effective against tanks and fortifications. Its versatility and power made it a formidable tool in the hands of German forces. The Germans had a tactical plan for invading the U.S. by way of Mexico. Known as Operation Pastorius, this plan involved landing saboteurs on the U.S. East Coast. While the mission ultimately failed, it highlighted the lengths to which the Axis powers were willing to go to disrupt the Allied war effort. The British double-cross system turned all German spies in Britain into double agents. This brilliant counterintelligence strategy misled the Germans about Allied invasion plans, contributing to the success of D-Day and other operations. It was a masterclass in deception and espionage. The Germans had plans to resurrect ancient warriors using modern technology. This bizarre scheme, part of Himmler's occult interests, aimed to use genetic engineering to revive legendary Germanic heroes. While it never progressed beyond the planning stages, it reflects the strange and often irrational beliefs held by some German leaders in that times. The Japanese tried to develop a death ray using microwaves. This experimental weapon was intended to incapacitate or kill enemy soldiers with concentrated energy beams. Although it never became operational, it represents the era's fascination with cutting-edge technology and unconventional warfare. The Soviets trained dogs to carry explosives under German tanks. These anti-tank dogs were taught to seek out enemy vehicles, resulting in mixed success and considerable controversy. The program illustrates the desperate and innovative measures taken during the war. The U.S. Army used Native American languages as codes, which were never broken by the enemy. Known as code talkers, these Native American soldiers used their languages to create unbreakable codes, playing a crucial role in secure communications during major battles. The D-Day invasion had a secret backup date in case of bad weather. Originally planned for June 5, 1944, the invasion was delayed by 24 hours due to poor weather conditions. The decision to go ahead on June 6 was a critical gamble that paid off, despite the challenging conditions. The Soviet Union and Japan never signed a formal peace treaty after World War II. Although hostilities ceased, the two countries remained technically at war until they signed a joint declaration in 1956. This unresolved tension is a legacy of the complex geopolitics of the time. German U-boats had a milk cow supply system at sea. These specialized submarines provided fuel, torpedoes, and other supplies to U-boats operating far from home ports. Known as Milchkuh, milk cows, these supply submarines enabled German U-boats to extend their operational range and maintain pressure on Allied shipping lanes, contributing to the prolonged Battle of the Atlantic. The Germans created synthetic oil from coal. Faced with resource shortages, Germany developed a process to convert coal into synthetic fuels using the Fischer-Tropsch process. This innovation allowed Germany to continue its war effort despite limited access to natural oil reserves, demonstrating both the ingenuity and desperation of the wartime economy. The US produced more than 300,000 aircraft during the war. This massive production effort was part of the arsenal of democracy, where American industry switched to wartime production. Factories that once made consumer goods were retooled to produce bombers, fighters, and transport planes, ensuring the Allies had the air power needed to win the war. The most surprising fact. Stay with us till the end to find out. And now, for the most surprising fact about World War II. During the early years of World War II, some American companies continued to supply materials and products to Germany. Despite the United States' official stance of neutrality before joining the war in 1941, businesses like Standard Oil, IBM, Ford, and General Motors found ways to continue their operations in Germany through subsidiaries and intermediaries in neutral countries. These supplies included crucial resources such as petroleum from Standard Oil, which was essential for the German military, and IBM's punch card machines, which were used for administrative and logistical purposes, including the persecution and extermination of Jews and other minorities. Ford and General Motors' German subsidiaries produced vehicles and engines that were utilized by the German armed forces. The continuation of these business activities highlighted the complex interplay between economic interests and wartime ethics. Post-war investigations revealed these connections, leading to significant criticism and discussions about corporate responsibility in times of conflict. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you want us to cover a specific topic, please write it in the comments. Give this video a like and share it so your family and friends can also learn about 29 shocking facts about World War II. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. And don't miss our recommended video at the end. You will enjoy it. Never forget, history is the imitator of time, the repository of actions, the witness of the past, the example and warning of the present. The caution for the future.